And away we go. It is the Aftermath, brought to you by Mio's Pizza right here on BearcatJournal.com. When you're in Clifton, maybe you're going to catch a basketball game, catch a football game, whatever it may be. Maybe you're just uptown. Make sure you visit our good friends at Mio's Pizza. Great pizza, great steak hoagies, delicious potato wedges, great appetizers. They've got the whole 9 yards and a fully stocked bar with everybody's favorite Cincy Light to get you taken care of. That's it. Go visit our friends at Mio's Pizza anytime you're in and around the UC campus. Well, Aaron, you weren't here last night because you couldn't watch the game.
Right.
But we're kind of one of those heater weekends that we don't get a whole lot. The basketball team was a lot of fun last night. If you haven't seen that, Keegan and I broke down the charity exhibition with Ohio State last night right here on this channel. And tonight, we get to talk about another win, Aaron, as the Bearcats calmly, peacefully, surgically take care of the Arizona State Sun Devils 24-14. Bearcats lead 24-7 at halftime. Had a chance to kind of deliver the knockout blow in the fourth quarter, but they got stopped on downs at the 3-yard line. That made it a little bit more dramatic, but ultimately, the Bearcats escape with a 24-14 victory. They are 5-2. They are 3-1 in the Big 12. I think if I would have told you, Aaron, beginning of the season, going into the Colorado game, this team was going to be 5-2 and 3-1 in the Big 12, I think you would have taken it
every time. Yeah, I would have taken it every time. They're playing well. They're figuring out ways to win, and that's one thing that we've talked about is you have to, even when your back is against the wall, you have to find ways to win. And this team is doing just that, and that's the sign of a good team.
The drive that spanned the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, it didn't result in a touchdown. But you know what also it did do, Aaron? That's like a 7+ minute drive. Like they just, given Arizona State's quarterback situation, they weren't going to be able to quickly move the ball down the field. And you have a drive that chews up 7+, almost 8 minutes. When you're up, 24-14, that puts a heavy, heavy burden on the opposing team. And Arizona State just didn't have enough firepower to get the job done. I'll let you take it away. Where you want to go? You want to start from the top?
I don't know. I mean, we can go in the way that it happened, or we can go player by player. I don't care how you want to do it tonight. Either way, there's plenty of good to talk about and plenty of stuff to critique.
We'll go from the top, and then we'll come back and touch on some player performances, if you will. Not a great start. Let's just be honest.
Nope.
Arizona State, Cincinnati goes 3 and out. Arizona State marches 65 yards down the field in 6 plays.
Most of them running.
It was one pass, and the pass was a swing pass to Scatabo that he took for 20 yards or whatever it was. Boy, I did not feel great knowing the one thing you had to do was stop Scatabo, and they went straight down the field on you and get a touchdown right from the jump after Cincinnati goes 3 and out. And then the next drive, Brendan Sorsby throws an interception, and you're looking at this thing going, is it going to be a long afternoon here at Nippert Stadium? Because I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, I think Arizona State had something like 44 yards rushing on that first drive. It was a 60-some-odd yard drive. But I was not feeling good. Scatabo wasn't even the lead. I don't even think he had the most yards. I believe it was Brown, Kyson Brown, who had the most yards on that first drive. Or damn near. Either way, yeah, there was no reason to feel good. You hate, especially seeing the home team win get the ball first on the coin toss and all of that, and then not do anything with it. 3 and out didn't feel good.
Yeah. But then, oh my goodness, Baylor is just dump trucking Texas Tech, Aaron. 52-21. 52-21. Whew. Then we get a glimpse of maybe the play of the day, Aaron. Scottibo breaks through the line of scrimmage, gets into some open space, and he's one-on-one head up with Antoine Peak. I think we're going to go simple here. I think we're just going to call this move the Peak Punch.
Why not?
Maybe Mio's can put a Peak Punch on the drink menu. If you guys are out there, if my Mio's people are out there, the Peak Punch. Because he once again, as Scottibo is almost trying to run him over, pop, ball pops out, Bearcats get it. 2 plays later, Sorsby in for a touchdown, 7-7. And it felt like that was the moment that like flipped the game on its head.
Yeah, that was huge momentum shift. Huge momentum shift. And the crowd was so into it. I'm really happy it happened that early because after you give up what we just talked about with the 3 and out and the touchdown drive that you could not stop much of what Arizona State was doing, that was a much needed.
And then the interception, 3 and out, touchdown, interception. Oh no, just straight up. Oh no.
Yeah. But
Antoine Peak is he's gonna be a fan favorite here real quick. The way
he's a menace.
Playing.
I don't. Yeah. It's crazy how quickly he's come into his own because I don't even know. This isn't a knock on him, but I don't even know that the signs of this escalation were there prior to what's happened over the course of the last couple of weeks. And confidence is everything. We know that. And when you're doing things the right way, they talk about all the time that what you practice translates to the game. And look, I don't know right now that if you're going one-on-one in a tackling situation, that Antoine Peak isn't one of the most dangerous people in the conference.
It's funny because I think, some of this was necessitated. You hit this 3-game stretch with Taj Brooks, RJ Harvey, Cam Scottibo. And, that star position in this defense is supposed to be a guy that does a little bit of everything, right? He can come up and run support, but he can also cover. Well, the necessity was we're going to need an extra body in the box to slow these guys down, especially coming off of what Taj Brooks did.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you go into the UCF game and now this game, and Antoine Peak is like, look, this is my spot. I am the star safety in this defense. And I don't know how the hell you take him off the field now because he has cemented himself as an impact guy. He led the team in tackles with 9. Mm-hmm. And I saw his dad at halftime, and you can like the smile on his face is he's already got a magnetic smile. Sure. The smile on his face, getting to talk about his son doing this, has been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it's crazy. You almost hope that at some point he shares the secret before he's gone, right? Like, can this be something that continues down the line? But you call the star position, the one that almost like a Swiss Army knife or something. The way you describe it, I think it's almost the cog that makes this entire defense turn.
Sure.
Because it almost goes as the star position goes. At this point, you have the linebackers also playing much better than they were towards the beginning of the season in this defense, where we were probably more reliant on the offense than the defense earlier in the season. That's kind of turned around, and the defense is certainly very, very important to the last couple of wins.
Alex, I was not rocking the capris today. So
it was look, it was DIY capris.
Right. So what had happened was I made a bad decision this morning because you had two ways to go with this game. It was going to be cold when you left your house.
Some of us left 2.5 hours earlier than everybody else.
I mean, it was going to be cold. You knew it was going to get in the mid 60s up near 70 by like the end of the game. I thought, well, I've got these really light, like joggers that, you know, maybe aren't going to be like gross hot, like when the sun starts beating down on you. And that
they just ended up being gross. Yeah, they just ended up being gross.
Yeah, it was hot. So I had to, you know, you've got the little band on the joggers. I had to pull the band, the ankle part up around my calves. And it made it look like I was wearing capris.
It did. I actually got a picture during the game from somebody saying, "Why is Chad wearing capris?" I'm not kidding.
I don't doubt it. Look, you got to do what you got to do. I was hot. I needed to cool down. So, yep.
There's the capris.
Those are my capris. What can you do? I had to make a business decision. I went capris. If you want to make fun of me, that's fine. I also had someone heckle me from the stands today, Aaron.
Excellent.
They yelled down. They were in the Bearcat layer. They yelled down. I turned to wave. Like, you know, a lot of people yell down at us. You get it too. Aaron! And you wave. And he goes, "You suck!" And I was like, and then he gave me a thumbs down, like an aggressive thumbs down. Oh.
Thank you for the donation, Connor. You're always donating. Anytime you're here, I feel like you're donating. You must continue to win your bets.
Yes, we like Connor. He was a fire Scott guy, making him eat crow, which isn't a bad thing. Look, Connor.
We'll get to that conversation.
From there, from the point that Cincinnati scored the touchdown to tie it at 7-7. Yeah, not the thumbs down. I mean, that part hurt. The "you suck" part, like, I'm okay with that. The thumbs down, it's just unnecessary. Rude. But from that point on, Cincinnati dominated the rest of the half. They scored 24 unanswered, and they missed another field goal at the end of the first half. The third game in a row and the fourth time this season they have missed a field goal at the end of the half.
I made this comment to Brent as we were lining up for the kick, and I was only half joking. We should have taken 2 delay of games and moved back 10 yards, and he would have been solid.
Distance is not the problem.
I disagree.
Okay. You're wrong, but the problem is when he kicks it dead straight every time. When he's on the hash, he kicks it dead straight. When he's in the middle, he kicks it dead straight. When he's on the left hash, he kicks it dead straight. The problem is when you're on the hashes and you kick it dead straight, well, they don't give you 3 points for that.
They don't.
I mean, I think they should, but they don't.
And Sat said it even in the post-game presser, he did well all week. They felt good about it. Everyone felt confident. Nathan felt confident, and they went in feeling confident in the kid doing his job.
Straight scenario.
And I wonder how much is in his head at this point. Like I feel bad for him, I do. But you got to figure out what's going on, and it's unfortunate.
It is, because he's got an incredible leg.
A hell of a leg. He can fix
He's
this
got
one thing.
NFL leg.
If he fixes this one thing, yeah, the sky is the limit for him.
Alex, why not kick the 20-yarder to push it to a 2-touchdown game? That would not have made it a 2-touchdown game, Alex. Which is why. It would have made it a 13-point game instead of a 10-point game. They were trying for the knockout punch. I mean, if you're going to give up 2 touchdowns, you're going to lose either way. So I think that was the thought process, is they wanted to end it at that point with Arizona State's inability to move the ball through the air. And they had, and Aaron and I will probably argue about this in a little bit. They had the touchdown and Joe Royer dropped it. I mean, they had 6 on 3rd down.
We'll get to that conversation.
Yeah. So Cincinnati goes in 24-7.
It's a little deflating because
a little.
This is now 4 games, I believe Coach said.
That part is deflating. Yeah.
Where
three games in a row. And
the 4th time this
4
season.
games this year. Yeah.
That you could have had 3 more points, that you could have gone in with, hey, we just scored again. How much more is the crowd into it when you're scoring? And you're just, the last thing you remember as you're going into the locker room is the crowd screaming for you as you're going in at that point up, 27-7, right?
It would have been 27-7. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're up 20, 3 scores.
Instead, you're up 17.
Still 3 scores, but different. But same.
I mean, given the inability they had to really, outside of that first drive, move the football, like 17, 20, like they're both a lot.
Well, and at halftime, you're wondering, as you missed that kick, I heard people up in the press box talking about it, starting to feel a little like Pitt, and you don't want to hear that.
Right. The difference being Pitt had a competent passing offense.
Correct.
If they had their starting quarterback, let's be honest, it could have been trouble. Like, it would have been dangerous.
Look, I don't think about the things that we cannot control.
I
know. As far as the roster goes. Now, as far as play calling, I like to get a little critical on that.
But second half, it wasn't overly exciting. It was, Cincinnati did not score in the second half. They didn't move the ball real well for most of the half. It felt like they stalled out a bunch, where they get a first down or 2. And then they were bad. I think the biggest thing offensively, Aaron,
3rd down.
Bad on 3rd down. Bad on 3rd down.
Yep. 3 of 12. 3 of 12.
And at one point, they were 1 of 7.
We knew Arizona State had a stingy defense. In his midweek presser, Coach said that their defense likes to wreak havoc. I won't say they necessarily wreaked havoc, but you only had one turnover, just the interception, and that was early on.
Yeah, and that was an arm punt, basically.
You did have a fumble, but we ended up recovering it. I don't know.
The interception, it was 3rd down. They weren't going to complete the pass. Like, even if it was incomplete, they would have punted. You pinned them back at the 16-yard line. Like, the interception didn't really hurt.
He underthrew it a little bit. He didn't really give. I think that was to Henderson, if I'm not mistaken.
It was to Henderson. He ran like 14 strides out of bounds. So even if he caught it, it would have been.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Like, if you go back and watch the replay, he ran like 10 yards probably out of bounds. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, I don't know. He like I said, he underthrew it a little bit, but yeah, I didn't see. I saw a stingy defense. I didn't see a defense that was wreaking havoc against this offense. I thought they were a little conservative in their play calling all day, especially in the second half. They weren't doing the thing where they just run the ball the whole game, or trying to play keep away, or trying not to lose. But I think they were just trying to milk the clock. They had some good drives, like you said, 7 minutes from the one that went in from the 3rd quarter into the 4th. They had some good drives. They just weren't able to capitalize on them. But
oh wow, that went even longer than I thought, Aaron. That drive went 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
That's a long drive.
You ate up over like 60% of a quarter.
A sixth
You
of the game,
you ate up
roughly, almost.
30% of the half on one drive. Pretty good.
It is pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't, second half drives. Where's the second? Here we go. A 6-minute 46-second drive that ended in a punt, 7 plays. The one we just talked about, 14 plays, 72 yards, 9 minutes and 10 seconds. And then you had the really what was essentially their last drive. They went 8 plays, 28 yards. Took or no, I was looking at this all wrong. I'm an idiot. 8:13 is what they took off the clock on that 14-play drive. And then 8 plays, 28 yards. They took off another 4 minutes and 8 seconds. And really they just looked at Arizona State and said, you don't have enough firepower to beat us. We're just going to let you bleed out, right? Like, that's essentially what they did.
Yeah, Dillingham started taking his timeouts around the 5.5 minute mark, 6 minute mark,
right under 6 minutes.
And he was playing, trying to get 2 scores in the last 6 minutes of a game as you're actively on defense. He was in a tough spot, but Cincinnati got a big first down from there was a pass to, I believe it was Jamoy Mays. He had a big catch, sliding catch. And then Sorsby got another one on his feet, and those are big.
It never really felt like he found that extra gear today, Sorsby. Like he was good, make no mistake. He 23 of 31, threw for 206 yards. I thought Arizona State did a good job taking away, and Sat talked about this a lot at the end of the game, after the game, taking away the sidelines, taking away the deep ball with the way that they played Cincinnati's receivers. So you give him credit for that. But he just felt like efficient. Like it wasn't splashy, but I mean, they picked up first downs, 23 first downs, which is pretty good, especially considering you were 3 of 12 on third down. Getting that many first downs is difficult when you only convert 3 on third down. So it felt like the offense was solid, but it just didn't feel like there was a lot of
Well, and that's where I want to bring up a conversation and say that I think one of the biggest difference makers of this season, not just today, but of this season, has been Evan Pryor. And he has come up huge in some very key situations. He doesn't touch the ball much. He truly doesn't. Today,
and he doesn't. It's like boom or bust, Aaron. He either gets stopped at the line of scrimmage or he hits a 60-yard home run.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Today, 4 touches, 67 yards. His long was the 55-yarder that went for a touchdown. And that's his third, I believe they said up in the press box, third of 55 or more
plus
of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's also a crazy stat. He's come up. I mean, there was another one earlier in the season where coming out of halftime, he scores on a very long touchdown as well. Like the times that he has come in and scored these long touchdowns have been just key to the victory. If you don't have that touchdown in the second half, or I'm sorry, in the second quarter, I don't feel good about your chances of winning.
No, I mean, that's completely fair. They had the short field touchdown on the fumble created by Peak. 2 plays, 22 yards, 46 seconds.
Kind of was close all day, but the last level kept getting him all day.
Yeah. And then you had the long drive at the start of the second quarter, 6 plays, 91 yards. That ended in the weird Sorsby kind of just giving it one of these to get it across the goal line. It didn't look like a touchdown at all from the field, by the way. But the guy on the goal line gave it, he had the straight down the line angle.
It was on the other side of the field from the press box. So
I was in the end zone, so we were looking at it kind of straight on.
Well, the replays are on the TV above my head when I'm sitting in the press box, unless I'm looking at the Jumbotron in the stadium.
And then, the quick one from prior. So that was kind of it gave them enough of a cushion that Arizona State could never really threaten. Even though the Scatterboot touchdown where he ran over Jared Bartlett to make it 24-14, I think we all looked at each other and went, really? We're going to do this again? I don't want to do this again.
Nope.
I don't want to do this again. Jeremy, by the way, 22 months. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your extending your membership. You the man.
I don't know. I didn't think Sorsby, you brought this up. I didn't think Sorsby was, you said good. He's an efficient. He just, for the last couple of weeks now, he's just seemed disjointed. He never, he did get into a rhythm in the second half against UCF. I don't feel like he ever really got into his rhythm today. I think he felt disjointed pretty much most of the day.
I mean, numbers wise, Aaron, still he had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At one point, he had completed 8 consecutive passes in the first half. And then at another point, he completed 7 consecutive passes in the second half. But teams are taking away the deep ball. So he is, he's not
what I want to say.
A big flashy play.
Well, the offense is taking what the defense is giving them, as opposed to they're not being able to just do what they want. They're not being able to just force their will on defenses. And I feel like that's kind of been the difference between the first half of the season and the second half of the season. Is first half of the season, it felt like they did what they wanted to do. Nobody really had tape on what this offense was or what they were going to try. And the second half has seemed like more the chess game where you're moving
7, 8, 9 yards at a time down the field instead of 40.
It's worked, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just a different it's a different style of offense than what we saw in the first half of the season. You're not playing as free. It doesn't feel like.
I mean, this tells the story exactly of what you're talking about, Aaron. You look at their 4 leading receivers. Xavier Henderson's longest catch was 15. Royers was 14. Tony Johnson's was 17. Jamoy Mays was 16. So their longest pass play was 17 yards.
And
then outside of the 55-yard run from Pryor, Kiner had a 20, and that was it.
Splash plays aren't a thing right now. Henderson was the only receiver over 50 yards. And you only had 2 other guys over 40. So it's, I don't know. It's working. It's just what I've noticed is there.
Yeah. It's not, it's not Sports Center highlight football, right?
Right.
It is. Right. It's like the passing
which goes
version
back to,
of ground and pound, right? We're going to get you 7, 8, 9 yards at a time.
Which goes back to the first point I made when we started the show tonight, is that they're finding ways to win. They're not just trying to force an offense that isn't working. Instead, they're just looking at what the defense is doing and countering it. Maybe that was a difference between the first drive. Maybe that's the difference though between the first drive and what you saw the rest of the day, and the first drive and the interception, I guess. And what we saw the rest of the day is they tried to do that because I mean, the deep ball to Xavier Henderson is just that, trying to do the splash play.
They tried
but
another
instead,
one right at the end of the first half on the fade in the back corner that I thought was probably should have been pass interference, but it was close enough.
Yeah, if you turn your head around, it's certainly not pass interference, but that was not the case. He was, I thought it was pass interference as well,
but yeah, so they're being forced to take what is given, and that's okay. That's fine. Because ultimately the tape will say they're just gonna get you death by 1,000 cuts, and then you're gonna have to come up and you're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive, and you're gonna try to have to take that away, and then that should open back up, making plays down the field, attacking over the top. Any individuals you want to get to?
I don't know. Corey Kiner, just shy of 100 yards, 22 carries for 99. Pretty good day at the office for him. Obviously, I already talked about Evan Pryor. Outside of that, the receivers continue to get the job done. I mean, you can name any receiver here. Joe Royer made some big plays. Xavier Henderson made big plays. Tony Johnson continues to show out. I'm thinking specifically about a slant that kind of broke the zone that Arizona State was running most of the day. As he was going towards the Bearcat lair. I think it was in the third quarter. It was just a quick slant where Sorsby didn't even check to the left side of the field. I think there was a busted up. Joe Royer was so open. It was a busted up. I think the receiver was going to pass. On the
no, he had it was a reverse that Kiner was flipping to Tony Johnson. He had a ton of room.
Well, and also Joe Royer was down the sideline wide open, no one within 20 yards of him. If he decided to cock back and throw.
And then they bobble it. And I mean, good on Tony Johnson for picking that up and only losing 3. I'll check on that Connor for Tuesday.
Monday.
Oh, I was thinking the press conference, but for the DVP, I'll check on it for Tuesday.
I don't know.
Well, we do have to say this. I think we buried the lead, Aaron. They did a great job on Cam Scatterby. Great job on Cam Scatterby. Like, you can tell how insanely talented that dude is. He had 17 carries for 75 yards. The longest he got all day was 16. He did have a nice catch out of the backfield early, but ultimately, much like with RJ Harvey, the mission at hand was to slow down Cam Scatterby, and they did.
I think that's why when he lowered the shoulder into Jared Bartlett and scored, I think that's why he stood over him. I think that it was a frustrating day for Scatterbo.
That should have been 15, by the way. You're not allowed to just stand over a dead body like that.
I don't think they even. I think I read somewhere they didn't even show the replay in the stadium because of the way that he handled it. That said, it is what it is. But to your point, I thought Jonathan Thompson had we already talked about Pete, but Jonathan Thompson had a great day. Dante is I know we talked about it last week, but all the way back, he is a problem up the middle. He is an absolute problem. No one knows what to do with him. You can double team him, it doesn't matter. He's just going to eat your double team. Bartlett had a good day until the injury. I think he was lining up for an excellent day had he not gotten injured. Outside of that, I thought Phillips had a pretty good day, considering I think he was held on every other play the entire day.
Who was it?
Those are
Phillips. Was it Phillips that flushed Sims out of the pocket and then he ran out of bounds for a 9-yard sack?
I think he was. I want to say he was stunting on that.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Somebody flushed him. I think I can't remember who flushed him out of the pocket on that play.
I know. There's only 2 credited sacks, and that was to Jonathan Thompson, who got him on the sideline at that point. But I don't. He wasn't the one who flushed him initially.
No, it was one of the linemen or Bartlett flushed him out
I
of the
think
pocket.
I think it was Phillips on a stunt.
And then he had another one late in the game where he got in there like immediately off the snap and forced an incomplete pass.
He did have 2 quarterback hits when the team only had 3. So I don't know. And I know that one of the questions here in the chat is not wanting to take away from tonight's show, and wanting to know if we'd mix it up next week with pressuring Sanders. Look, I know coming into this game, this team was number 2 in the conference in sacks. I think that they are dialing up pressures and finding ways to get to the quarterback at the right times. I don't know that you weren't. Sims is quick. I don't think you're really gonna. If you were gonna get after him as far as trying to get after, like to sack him, I think you were gonna end up probably causing yourself issues in the run game.
Yeah, I mean, look again, much like last week against Central Florida. You know they've got a quarterback that is not going to be able to consistently beat you with his arm. They have a great running back. The mission of the game plan is to stop the running back. Like, period, point blank, no questions asked. Keep that running back in check, win the football game. And that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's fantastic that the guys that we were talking about, and 3 of your 4 leading tacklers, by the way, 4 of 4, if you're counting the star as a linebacker, were linebackers.
And I think Dingle was right below. Dingle was tied for 5th.
And I think that is what you wanted to see out of this defense. And yes. I think that is a reason that you are able to get to the running back. I know early on we were worried that the 3-3, not we, but the fans were talking about, is 3-3-5 the right defense for this team? We need to stop the run. You figured it out. It was just a matter of time for the players and the personnel to get on the same page with the coaches and this defense. And I think that we are there. I think the bye week, again, I can't stress enough how much I think the bye week helped. I think A, getting people healthy, and B, getting everyone on the same page, communication. When they went back and watched, I forget who said it, when they went back, I think it was Gold Day, when they went back and watched what Florida did to UCF, they watched the communication and they emulated what Florida did in practice, over communicating. And I think that that's been key. You can see it. You can watch the communication happening. And I don't think we were seeing that early on.
No, and I think it's difficult when you're learning a new system and you're playing in games for the first time and you're so worried about your assignment, right? See, what formation are they in? What are their tells? Like, where do I think this play is going to go? Like, you've got so much processing in your internal computer that you didn't have time yet to get to the point where you're like, okay, I know immediately this is my assignment. Now let's all start sharing with each other what we are seeing so that we're all on the same page. Like, yeah, and you're right. Like, standing behind the defense, you can see those guys all constantly directing and redirecting each other.
It's not just the linebackers. You're seeing the safeties do it. Not so much the corners, but there's movement. There's guys coming off guys. You're seeing some of the I don't even know if it's exotic looks or just making sure that the right guys lined up on the right guys and switching it in the middle of like you're just seeing action all over the place pre-snap and talking. And I love it. I love it.
Again, Tyson Veit, I've been very big on him since he got here. I love his demeanor. I love the way he coaches. I love the way his energy, the way he handles his guys. Like, I am a big, big fan of Tyson Veit and his system, and it's going to work. Like, you see it at Iowa State, how well it works and how well it works when the linebackers are great. And we're starting to get great. Dave. I that's, if you saw me like go give it one of these, was the Tennessee interception with a minute and a half left to end the game and take a knee. So Dave, are you still not drinking? The Bearcats won, the Vols beat Bama. Like, I think you've earned a beverage or two tonight. I'm just saying. Not that I'm a bad influence, but I'm a bad influence completely. Oh, what else you got? Anything?
I don't know that I have much. I don't know that I have much else. I guess I do want to just hat tip to Jamoy Mays at punt returner. He just, whether he makes a play on the ball or not, I feel better than I have at any point in time under Satterfield with Jamoy Mays back there covering punts.
How big have Jamoy Mays and Tony Johnson been for this team? Like, they're not 5-2 without those two dudes. Like, yes, Xavier Henderson and Joe Royer and Corey Kiner and Brendan Sorsby are the stars on offense, but Jamoy Mays and Tony Johnson make up a hell of a supporting cast.
Yep.
So there you go. That's your quick hit recap in the aftermath. Dave and Jeff will be here at 9:30 tomorrow morning to give their thoughts in the Bearcat Brunch. This used to be a Gunners podcast. The Gunners are so good that, like, we don't have to talk about them. Fletch had a little bit of a rough day. He didn't have the big leg today.
We would have been talking about how good that punt was. Had Ken Willis had just a touch more cognizance as to where he was on the field.
Well, I think it's actually different in college. I don't think it's the NFL rule. I think it's the ball. And the ball, it didn't matter where his feet were. The ball were going to go over, like, so it looked like a faux pas by him, but I think in the college rules, the ball went across the plane, so it would have been a touchback.
You can't toss. You can't jump over the line and toss it back. Okay,
right. That's an NFL thing. But anywho, that's gonna wrap it up. Everybody have a great Saturday night. Go watch some football. I'm gonna go sit by a fire. Aaron's gonna put kids to bed. Bearcat Brunch tomorrow, 9:30. Be here for that. And we'll see you on Monday night. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night, Aaron and I, with a nightcap. We got 3 games left. It's been a pretty crazy day in the Big 12 already.
Wild ride.
We'll see you tomorrow. That's the Aftermath, brought to you by Mio's Pizza, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
Should have run it with Kiner at the 3-yard line twice. Touchdown. See ya!